Is there a specific ritual that you use as a way to motivate them to be at the edge of their comfort zone?
Humor often works. Well, it's just they say that humor is always at the expense of at the pain of someone else, almost always. You think of like physical humor is usually some kind of pratfall, right? It's Buster Keaton falling down or the tramp almost getting run over by a car and stepping on a rake, whatever. Humor is a way to build connection, and it's like a great equalizer from an ego standpoint. You know, it kind of breaks down the. It's kind of like when you have a good comrade, you tease them, like in a buddy movie when there's two different characters of different ethnicities and they're just constantly throwing epithets at each other about their race or something or their gender or something. And they don't mean it. It's just a way of showing, it's a way of breaking down ego and saying, let's put all that aside. So I think humor in a project is a good way to relieve stress. Something I've incorporated in engineering meetings myself is I've challenged my engineers to they have to express their when they have a gripe, they have to express it in the form of a haiku. So we would have meetings where we'd all get up and read our haikus, or a lot of times they ended up being in PowerPoints, right? So there'd be a graphical element as well, a multimedia presentation.
Oh man.
So let's say the propulsion engineer is having trouble sourcing the turbine engines for the airplane because the vendor won't give them a non-disclosure agreement because of some export licensing thing, whatever, some technical. So he's frustrated, right? It shouldn't be a problem. He's an engineer. He doesn't want to deal with the bureaucracy of, some export licensing thing that the State Department has. So he expresses his frustration in the form of a haiku. And I think it's a lot of fun for engineers to do that because a haiku is very structured and engineers like problem solving. It's a puzzle, right? There's rules and then you work within those rules and then there's an opportunity for creativity. And then you can also make an ass out of yourself and be a clown in front of everyone and get a good laugh out of it. And by the time you've sat down and thought about the haiku long enough to express your gripe, usually you've come to terms with it, and it's kind of like you've reached a state. You're at peace with it now. Like by the time even before you present it to anyone, you've thought about it, you've meditated on it, you've broken it down, and it's kind of it's very cathartic, and we've had a lot of fun with it. So that's kind of usually most of them ended up being comical. Everyone took the opportunity to kind of one up each other with something funny in their haiku. And the gripes ended up being a lot of fun rather than a pissing contest of finger pointing.
Thank you for that. That's innovative. I've never heard that before. I really like it, well, for its inventiveness, but also if I think about how do we actually reconcile the internal grappling that's within each and every one of us? I think having a structure like a haiku, as you said, provide that emotional distance. And then we go back to it. It's like exposure therapy, right? You go back to it, think about it, chewing on it, meditate on it. And by the time we're ready to find the words that allows us to express our emotions in the way that we wanted to do it precisely, we already have resolved or integrated this internal negative emotion that we have about it. Yeah, that's really, really great.